What's up, y'all? It's the Average Consumers here with another video. Today we are reacting to another video from content creator Toni Bryanne.
Yep.
This video is titled "The Toxicity of the Red Pill Community. Kevin Samuels and his followers are toxic."
How's that make you feel?
I mean, hey, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you know, we know how the content creation thing goes, so it's like, all right, let's find a title that's gonna really catch people. So it's like, okay, she's making a statement, but let's hear what she has to say. So let's just get right into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. My name is Toni Bryanne, and in today's video we are going to be discussing Kevin Samuels and his followers in the red pill community. So I already know what this video is going to attract: a bunch of angry men. I've already dealt with this in a previous video that I did, where in the past like 2 months it has been 100% male audience, and that video was like why dating sucks in 2021. Although I spoke very clearly on how this video reflects on both parties, and I mentioned several times in the video that men need to find their worth too.
By the way, that video that she just mentioned is the last video that we reacted to, so make sure y'all go check that out. And what she's saying is true. She did hold both parties accountable in the video, saying that, you know, whatever. So she wasn't just bashing men, but
people decided to take what they wanted to take, and they did whatever with that information and really tried to like hurt my feelings, but it really didn't work. Like, that video showed me how strong I was, because I really did not care. Like, I read a comment, block, delete, whatever, and then I move on. Like, I don't care. So like, don't take time out of your day to like leave a hate comment, because you're just gonna get blocked. And I really don't care. Like, it honestly doesn't affect me, because I already know what type of man you are. Like, a man I would never want in a million years. You try and say you wouldn't want me and think that's gonna hurt my feelings, but baby, I never wanted you to begin with, okay? But without further ado, let's get straight into this video, because this topic has been sitting on my mind for a long time. And just hearing more and more men that are listening to this man and seeing more comments, especially from like the type of content I make of like angry men coming in my comments. I always call them angry little men. But yeah, I'm gonna break this down. We're gonna get right into this. So without further ado, let's get straight into this video. So Kevin Samuels is a part of the red pill community. So I'm gonna break down what the red pill community is.
is he?
I would say a lot of red pill content creators normally come out and say like, yeah, I'm red pill, or they'll use the terminology blue pill to talk about other people.
Yeah.
He may not be a part of it, but he is.
He used some of the terminology. He like uses the terminology.
Yeah, and he also is kind of like, since he speaks up for men, which is kind of like what the red pill, well, one of the things that the red pill community is about.
Taboo.
Yeah, and holding women accountable as well. He kind of had branded himself as like, you know, one of the biggest spokespersons.
Yeah, it's like the whole manosphere is basically labeled red pill. So
yeah.
Okay, so according to the Business Insider, I looked it up. So the red pill is known as the weird new cult for men who don't understand women. That's what they came up with, but it's basically a community of men giving other men dating advice.
The crazy part is this weird cult is actually the ones who actually really understand women the most.
But a lot of the men who do join the red pill community don't necessarily understand women upon joining. Yeah. And then once they go through a couple months, you know, weeks, then orientation and whatnot,
orientation,
then they just say, okay, I know.
Yeah, ain't nothing but a little bit straight.
However, I feel that the dating advice given by the red pill community is in a very toxic and misogynistic way, and it does not help those men at all. So I do find some of the things that, for instance, Kevin Samuels says, there's many men a part of that community, but I don't watch that content. I don't watch Kevin Samuels, but Kevin Samuels is the most popular, so I tend to see him pop up here and there from other people's perspectives, speaking on him and speaking on what he says. So some of the things that Kevin Samuels says, I don't necessarily disagree with. I feel like a lot of things are important. I feel like it is good that men are having an outlet to hear from another man besides just making moves on their own, especially in the Black community, because as we know, statistically, a lot of Black men or Black fathers are not in the household. So a lot of Black men are just growing up with their mothers, and I think it's still very important for Black men to have men in their households, a father figure. So a lot of them don't have that. So I think that this is a really good push. It was a good push, but I think the delivery was so wrong on how a lot of these spokespersons or spokespeople for the red pill community advocate. So like I said, I believe a lot of things that Kevin Samuels says are true. However, he delivers all this information to the wrong community. A lot of Kevin Samuels supporters are not these high quality men that Kevin Samuels speaks of. For instance, Kevin Samuels considered a high quality man or a high profile man because I believe he has money, I'm sure. I mean, he has quite the large platform, so I'm assuming he has money.
But Kevin Samuel also said he doesn't define what a high value man is. He's just presented with it from the women that he talks to.
Right, and also he makes it known that this isn't his standard that he created. It's always been a thing. It's always been a high value man.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, and I mean, she is making a point though when she says that a lot of his supporters are not these guys that Kevin Samuels is referring to. Like you were saying, you're joking about, like, there's a lot of fat guys like, yeah, get her, like, you know, behind the screen or whatever. And it's like, yeah, there is a lot of guys who aren't doing anything with their life, but because they feel rejected by women, they like to see a man tell them, like, you know, put them in their place.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, yeah, somebody gets to do it, you know? So, yeah, but there's also people who are, you know, either on their way up or in that position who do support him as well. But,
yeah,
I mean, I can't tell you what the majority is, whether it's more of the guys who aren't doing anything or the guys who are. So,
yeah, I think also, like, the comment section of videos isn't necessarily reflective of the content creator, just because a lot of the times, like we just said, a lot of people in the comments will be like, yeah, get her, take that, and all of that, but that's only out of spitefulness, out of bitterness. Whereas like there are people who are watching Kevin Samuels stuff who are just like, yo, I'm trying to be the best person I can be for myself.
And actually leveling up, actually
literally
taking steps, you know,
every other day, like they're you know, doing work that is monotonous and that is boring, but it is making them better.
And he is an older man from what he considers to be high status, so I believe he is one of those. But a lot of the men that he has as supporters are very angry men that never were able to get a woman, or at least an attractive woman, from their standards. They still live at home. They don't have a great job. And overall, they're just angry with what the world left them with. They're angry at the world. So this causes them to really hate women, because a lot of women don't even want them.
That's what I was going to say. A lot, like when you said the comments are not reflective of the creator, because to a certain degree, it is, to a certain degree. But the cult following is like the radical version of the creator.
I will say there's one exception that I can think of. Steph is cold. I think his comments and his content are pretty parallel. But shout out to Steph is cold.
No shout out to that nigga.
Nah, bro. Shout out to Steph is cold.
Shout out to Steph is cold. But yeah, it's like once you have that cult following, it's like they take the parts that they like of what you say and like just like inflate it, like you know. So because it's like, okay, shout out to Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. He could be living a pretty regular, you know, he has a life outside of the screen, but when he says on the screen, it's like people think that this is just it, like nothing more, nothing less. So it's like, for example, when Steph is cold, will say something like, oh, when you hit, don't nut. Like guys will take that as law, like, but clearly he's nutting.
How is that even possible? Like,
but like if you have a brain, you know that he's nutting when he hits somebody's girl. But the guys who are like watching it, eating it up, they're like, all right, never nut in her. Make her wait a year to respond to her text. Like, they take it to the extreme. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really extreme, bro. I agree with everything you were saying. I don't really have much to say to it. Like, you said everything.
So, I get what she's saying.
They're not even in those women's calibers, so they decide to hate all women, and they use the red pill community as a source to spew out their hatred for women, specifically black women. So I tend to see the red pill community being a very toxic, degrading, and malicious platform. And
I guess kind of a side comment though. The red pill community is a watered down version of the incel community in some ways. I'm not going to say a lot of men in the incel community, in the red pill community, are involuntary celibate because they still go out and date women and sleep with women. But as far as like the toxicity that she's talking about, yeah, the incel community is like a even worse and even more toxic version, or was, of the red pill community. Like red pill community is way more level headed than like the incel community and the MGTOW community and all of that. So
yeah, it's funny because I just now put together what incel meant. You said involuntary celibate. I didn't know what that meant. But
Involuntary celibate.
I definitely heard about that before. But yeah, that makes sense. I mean, because you gotta think about it. If you're involuntarily celibate, that's pretty frustrating. But
kind of like the definition said online, it's like a cult. I definitely feel like they are a cult. It's just so much negativity in that community and they feed off of that. I've seen certain men react to my videos. I don't watch the videos because I don't care to. I just kind of block whoever made the video because I don't know why you're watching my content anyway if it makes you so upset. And the comments are disgusting. Like, it's like they really want you to grab a rope and end it all. Like, that's like their intention. Now, they're lucky that I'm a strong woman. I'm a strong black woman. What you say does not offend me or hurt my feelings. Like, I laugh at what you say. But say that was someone that was more weak-minded and they really took offense to the things that you say and you really had someone end their life. Honestly, I don't even think they would feel sorry for it. They'd probably say, well, she probably deserved to do what she did because she doesn't deserve a high-quality man. Like, that's honestly what I think they would say. They are... Like, and I don't want to say everyone, but the majority that I see in the comments that I get, a lot of them, they'll say like, oh, you should listen to Kevin Samuels maybe. And I'm like, okay, I knew you listened to Kevin Samuels just by how you responded, just by the way you acted like a little boy. So like I said, I don't necessarily find Kevin Samuels' advice to be horrible. I agree with some of the things he says, but many of the things he says, I feel like it's very misogynistic, not pro-black at all. And his followers take in that advice. So I would say I think his delivery just kind of sucks. He needs to have a better...
Yeah. It's an interesting take.
Not pro-black?
Yeah. Like, I don't really get how you translate that to not being pro-black. I mean, because it's like, okay, I get it, right? He's talking to majority black women.
Yeah.
He's a black man.
Yeah.
So... already it's supposed to be seen a certain way, like, oh, he's really trying to demolish the culture. But you gotta think about it. As of most black men are dealing with majority black women. So if that's our reality, why are we talking to white women? Why are we trying to tell Japanese women what they should be doing? We're dealing with black women. Why do I care what's going on over there?
Yeah.
Like, you get what I'm saying? Unless I want to be over there, I shouldn't be worried about what's going on over there. I'm trying to help my community. I'm trying to help black women get with black men.
I would say don't confuse like bashing or anti-black whatever with accountability, because that's all that this is in the grand scheme of things, right? Is basically accountability, because he's letting women know, like, this is what you bring to the table, but this is what you want. That's like if I'm, and I think he even says it every now and then, if I'm 5'3", I don't even know how to put the ball between my legs playing basketball, but I'm sitting here like, I expect to be in the NBA. It's not gonna happen. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, if I can't do certain things as far as like on the court for a basketball, I won't be in the NBA. And being 5'3", bro, even if I'm better than LeBron at 5'3",
not a lot of hope.
Exactly. But that's the accountability. Like, you know, somebody's telling me like, listen, these are the dreams, these are the aspirations that you have and the dreams that you have, but look at
your reality,
right? That's all. I think that's pretty much what it is. So I wouldn't say that he is anti-black or against black women. It's just he's more for black women than what we actually can see.
Isn't this the tough love people say they want? the tough love, somebody to really tell them about themselves
Mm.
and keep it real with them. Like, oh, like if you really fuck with me, tell me when I'm wrong, like that type of thing.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be tough love, right?
Mhm.
That's what we say we want, but then when we get it, now we saying you anti.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
cause I mean he keep it real with men too. Like,
He
oh,
definitely.
you overweight.
Yeah.
You're broke. Like, why do you think you should get a dime piece? Like,
He even said he got a little dick too. Okay.
but yeah, so it's like, you know, it's like if I'm a gym trainer and a woman who's 500 pounds come to me and she like, oh, you know, she's like telling me that she feels like she's not worth anything because of how she looks and whatever, and I'm supposed to be like, oh, no, you know, it's okay, you look good. Like, no, I'm supposed to tell you that, yeah, I mean, I'm obviously there's a way to do it. I'm not gonna be disrespectful like, yeah, you ugly as shit, dickhead, like fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna be like, yeah, you do need to lose some weight, and that's why you're not getting the results that you want, because you have not lost that weight. You have to be real, and it's gonna hurt. Obviously, it's not supposed to make you feel good. Like, yeah, you put on all this weight, you know, but whatever. Y'all get what I'm trying to say.
Delivery, and then his followers just kind of run with that. They run with what he says, even though Kevin Samuels isn't really speaking for them, but they support him because Kevin makes them feel like they are that high quality man when they really probably aren't. And I think the advice given is very toxic.
Well, she said he makes them feel like he's speaking for them, and because she's talking about the high value thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe Kevin Samuels, in the grand scheme of things, is really speaking for the average guy. He's trying to get average women to mate with average men. He's trying to make women realize that they need to humble themselves and live in reality. Yes, high value men will get high value women, but the average woman wants high value man. He's just trying to make it. I think he said, we were watching something earlier where he was like, the high he's if we can make average guys cool, and for an average woman, then you know that's really what it's about. Because it's like 90% of women want the top 10% of men, or 99% of women. There's a shortage. Like, sorry, that's not gonna work. So the average people have to get with average people, and there's nothing wrong with being average. That's his whole message. He's not saying, oh yeah, you have to be with a high value, you need a high value man. No, he's saying that live in reality, and you get usually what you are presented with. And a lot of time y'all have babies by somebody that is your match. So stay there. Don't leave that and then try to expect more and expect somebody to marry you, you know. But whatever.
I also think there's, I think there should be a level of confidence that people should have, or men should have. I will say, like, I do agree that, you know, obviously some of the followers can be toxic and then think of themselves as more than what they are. But I think you should watch, you know, you watch his content, you take everything in, and then you make mental notes, and then you build yourself up from there, using kind of like what he has said as a blueprint for your standards in relationships, or even, you know, in the business world or something like that. So, I mean, you should have like some sort of confidence going into things, because if you don't, like, who else is going to believe in you?
And to piggyback off of that, the same thing. Like, okay, so right, if I'm an average guy, because I was literally watching a video about this the other day. Shout out to Jose Zuniga, I believe that's his name.
Okay.
Is he a red pill guy too?
He's in like the men's fashion space.
Oh yeah, I know you're talking about. My
that
fault.
guy. Yeah, so he was saying like why guys should go after more attractive women, because if I'm a 5 and I'm going after 8s, 9s, 10s, it's gonna motivate me to do more, like to feel worthy of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's gonna motivate you to get more money. It's gonna motivate you to, you know, upgrade your style and stuff like that. Like, because you want to get the more attractive girl, but it's like the opposite effect. Like, it's the reason why it's different from an average woman saying she wants a high value man is because a lot of the average women don't want to do the work to get the high value man. But if I'm an average guy and I want a high value girl, it's gonna motivate me to do more work so that I can be able to get that. So I believe that that's the whole thing. Like when you say the confidence thing, like yeah, your confidence should be up to approach these girls because it's gonna motivate you to do more. It's gonna motivate you to be better.
Yeah.
For men who are not of high status society-wise, because they start believing they are, and they go around saying ridiculousness that they can't say in person because they could say it on the internet, because most of them don't have profile pictures. It's a safe space on the internet. They think that no one's ever gonna know who they are, but in person they will get dragged for filth, okay? If they ever say half the things that they say in person, because they sound so ignorant and ridiculous, especially if I know who you are in person. I know what your occupation is. I know how old you are. I know how you physically look while you're degrading women's looks. I feel like a lot of his supporters constantly degrade women's looks for no reason. It'll be a beautiful woman, or it'll be a woman that I would say is even regular, but they're so quick to call someone ugly because Kevin Samuels says it's okay to call a woman a 4 when a woman thinks she's a 7 or a woman thinks she's a 9. Like, that's just, it's weird to me. And what annoys me the most when it comes to that, because Kevin Samuels will particularly have black women go on his lives, he will automatically disrespect a black woman and call her less than what she really is. And I feel like that's not okay, because black women, us as black women, we already go through enough. Society already tells.
All right. So I will say that sometimes people in the comments, like she said earlier, people who just want to hate for no reason, they will be very hard on. They will be very hard, especially on black women. And then they'll write in a comment, "Oh man, don't even worry about black women. I'm over here with these white chicks." And it's just like there's I can definitely
I'm over
agree.
here with the bunnies. I'm playing in the snow.
It's just like yeah.
I mean,
they're very.
Is it okay for a girl, like, so she said that Kevin Samuels will call a girl a 4, and then she believes is a 9. Is it okay for a girl to believe that she's a 9, or how do you feel about that?
I mean, he was saying something about confidence. I mean, there's nothing wrong in being confident in yourself, but you have to live in you have to be grounded within reality. Like, reality has to be your foundation.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's
you
true.
have to understand, if I was a 9, I would be getting 9 results. I don't have a bunch of guys courting me to be their wife, like, as if, like, I'm going out of stock.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
That makes sense.
So it's like, yeah, you gotta be grounded in reality at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, his scale is, like, I get why women will ask, like, well, what is your scale weighted as? Because Beyonce is an 8. So if
Kelly Rowland as a 9.
Yeah, so it's just like...
Saweetie's a 6.
So if a woman gets on and says she's a 9, it's like...
a 10.
No, she's not.
Alright. We're not even gonna go there.
But if a woman gets on and says she's a 9, it's just like, it's good that you think of yourself very highly, but is that I'm thinking of myself very highly because I'm super insecure, that I'm now like, you know, false confident?
So illusion versus confidence.
Or am I just like, I really think of myself? I mean, I feel like if a woman really thought of herself based on reality and all that she brings, most women would probably say like 5, which is average.
And the whole thing is, like, at the end of the day, it's like, you know, some people will say, like, oh, a high value guy or whatever, like, will settle down with a 7 or something like that, as long as she's, like, you know, a good woman.
Yeah.
Like, at the end of the day, like, it's really just about, like, when these women have inflated ratings of themselves, they typically tend to turn their nose up, and they feel like they can look down on men, and like people just owe them the world type of thing. So it's like it's more so about humility rather than, oh yeah, we're really dissecting your looks. Like it's not really about that. It's just like, when you have a high inflated rating of yourself, you tend to not be humble. So you know what I mean? So
we're ugly. Society already tells us that we're not good enough. And you trying to degrade a black woman by saying she's a 4 when she's saying she's a 7, I just don't think that's okay. And I know he thinks it's helping a woman by saying, well, you're actually a 4. That does not, no. First of all, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And if a girl thinks she's a 7, but she really is a 4, what is your purpose in saying that? And what is that going to do for her? Besides make her, after she gets off that live, really sit there, either cry herself to sleep or really think about herself in the worst light ever. Like, that doesn't help. And then you do it in front of thousands of people.
I mean, she is supposed to reevaluate herself, but not in the worst way ever. Like, oh, I don't deserve to live. You know, like, yeah, you're supposed to reevaluate yourself and become more humble. Like, okay, let me start being in reality. I'm saying that I'm a 10, but am I getting 10 results? And if not, what can I do to at least strengthen the situation that I'm in to get better results?
Yeah, and I also think I know a lot of people have an issue with his delivery, but he'll say things, he'll point out things about the women, and those are the things that he is kind of telling, like, you should be cognizant of this when you do go back and self-evaluate, instead of like them just thinking that they're trash and like destroying their confidence. It's more like, from this conversation that we're having, focus on this if you're trying to attain this, you know?
Yeah, and also it's like, at the end of the day, we're not talking about the fact that a lot of these people who he gives these reality checks to come back and thank him after the fact, because nobody's told them that truth that whole time, so they didn't have any reason to reevaluate themselves. But if I go on Kevin Samuel's show and he's like, oh yeah, you're broke, you're a bum, you know, not necessarily like that, but like, oh, if I'm overweight, then yeah, I have to now reevaluate myself. Oh, okay, so I was thinking too highly of myself when I should not be. Let me go work on myself, and then come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
people. I don't even know why women even go on his lives anymore, because all he does is disrespect women from what I've seen. Obviously not all the time. I also have seen certain clips on like the Shade Room of him being respectful, like towards Tommy, who Tommy happens to be my twin. You know, we don't look like anymore. She got a lot of plastic surgery, but she's still beautiful. But Tommy from Love and Hip Hop, he was very respectful towards her, which I think is because he knows Tommy will check him really quick. But for the most part, he is very negative towards black women.
he can never get any credit for doing the right thing. She's like, yeah, you only did it because she'll check you. I mean, you know.
Or women in general, and not uplifting women, and instead he downplays them and makes them feel less than. So for me personally, hearing that a man listens to Kevin Samuels, that is an automatic turn off. And I'm gonna share my story, okay, about a man that I knew that listened to Kevin Samuels. So this man I was talking to, not even for a day, it was maybe 2 days, if that. It probably was a day. So we were texting, and one time I did not respond super quick because I was doing homework. Finals were coming up, I was doing my homework, and right away,
Educated.
his first stance was, this is why I don't do black girls, because they think they're better than. And I was like,
This is what I'm talking about. Niggas be taking that shit to the extreme, bro. Like, what you talking about? This is why I don't date black girls. Like, come on, man.
Bro, it's he probably I'm just making assumptions. The guy's probably an only child. He probably messed up. That's, bro. That's just so, no disrespect to only childs, but like, I'm an only child and you always want attention, you know, so something like that is just like, you gotta check that.
She said, when she said she ain't text him back for a couple hours because she was doing homework. She said, hey, this is why I don't date black girls.
why, you know, I shouldn't even respond it, but I said, why is that your first response? Why is your first response say, this is why I don't do black girls? And mind you, this is a black man saying this. And he proceeds to go on a rant, because this is voice messages. And he was going on a rant about Kevin Samuels and how he listens to Kevin Samuels and he talks about black women. I'm like, oh, you listen to Kevin Samuels. All right, let me leave this man alone real quick. And I know for a fact, just by how he went and how off on me so quickly when I was just doing homework and was so quick to degrade black women. I knew for a fact he listened to.
I bet he was like, "Don't overtalk me, don't overtalk me." When she was explaining herself, she's like, "I was doing, don't overtalk me, don't overtalk me. I was doing homework, don't over." See, this is the problem. This is the problem.
He definitely probably was doing that.
Kevin Samuelson, he put the icing on the cake by just saying it out loud to me. So I told my sister before I even heard the audio, I said, I feel like he listens to Kevin Samuels. I feel like he does. And he said it out of his mouth. The words came out of his mouth that he listens to Kevin Samuels. I have screenshots and all that, okay? That's why I would never date a man that listens to Kevin Samuels. I also talked to some guys that listen to Kevin Samuels as well. Maybe not like through text, but maybe like through DMs. And their favorite question is, what do you bring to the table? Why are you asking me that on date one? Did I ask you what you bring to the table? Maybe you just listen.
On day one.
It's just
Like before I think about asking you for a date, what do you bring to the table?
it's just like
Prove yourself to me.
These are going to be the more vocal fans of Kevin or followers of Kevin Samuels, because the ones that are actually putting in work, they not, first off, most of the time they don't even have time to deal with women, or like they won't even get upset about these things. It's more of a, as I get to know you, kind of ask you these questions, and not, niggas aren't going, well, I would assume men going to become high value men aren't going to ask, what do you bring to the table? They will evaluate you. They'll see.
Yeah, they'll be
after,
able to see it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, yeah, that, you're exactly right. Like, at the end of the day, if you're really putting the work in to be that high value man, you're not even gonna be swayed by something like that. Like, to be going off like, oh, this is why I don't do this. Like, what time do you have to be that emotionally like attached for you to even go off like that?
It's like, what are you doing? Like, you must be doing absolutely nothing.
Right. So, yeah.
Listen to me and I listen to you, we'll know what each other brings to the table. Like, come on, do better. And I don't think he necessarily spews hatred towards women, but the way he speaks about women is just a little bit weird to me. And like, I think his supporters really make it sound like he's much worse than he is. Cause I have heard one of his audios. Like I saw that on like a gossip site that I follow, and I kind of agreed with him. But at the same time, I'm like, it's your delivery. Your delivery just sounds off with you telling a woman that just because she has 2 kids, she doesn't deserve a high quality man. And I kind of get that at a point, because I wouldn't want to date a man that has 2 children, like right away. That just isn't for me, especially at my young age of 20. But I feel like this is the way you go about it. Like, I wouldn't tell a man to his face, you got 2 kids, ew, I'm not dating you, you're disgusting, you're not high quality, ugh, like you're used up. I would never say that. But that's kind of how Kevin Samuels displays what he is saying, but I don't think he necessarily means that, but I think it's just his delivery. So all in all, I'm all for men taking advice. I'm all for men learning to date more efficiently. I'm all for men knowing their worth, because I feel like a lot of men do get put down. Like, don't get me wrong, I haven't had my best experience with dating, but every man that I've dated, if I'm being honest, I've only had 2 bad experiences. But for the most part, everyone, they've been nice people overall. We just didn't like really connect. But I've also heard other stories. So a lot of like the things that I say, I never mean all, because I always say I know there's always an exception to the rule. I do not think all men are horrible. My dad is an amazing man. He's an amazing husband. He's an amazing father. I have uncles, amazing husbands, amazing fathers. I see it all, okay? I see black men being wonderful, men in general being wonderful. I'm surrounded by that. So do not get me wrong anyway.
That's what it takes for a woman like this to come to this space. Because her being 20 years old, like she said, and with all the media going on, it's easy for, like, I've seen girls who are her exact age, like, just completely brainwashed, like, oh, men are evil, men are trash, this and that. But like she was saying in the beginning of the video, it's important for the man to be in the house for both the man and the woman coming up, because you need to see that example. If she didn't see that in her dad, it could have been a completely different conversation. So,
but I just feel like sometimes in this generation, it's a lot more common to see discrepancy in relationships, and a lot more things are normalized. So that's why it is kind of upsetting to see. It doesn't necessarily affect me, but that's why I share my opinions. But overall, I think that men do deserve to have a platform. But at the same time, you do not need to degrade black women or women in general because you are angry at the world, or you're angry about how men and black men are portrayed. I feel like there's a way to go about it. Read some books. I'm sure there are some good books on Amazon. You don't have to have this misogynistic way of thinking and basically saying that women lose their value at 23, 24, because that is not the case at all. I see so many bosses women 30, 35, 40, killing it in the game. So Nicki Minaj she's old goods. She's not good or anything. Beyonce's old goods. Y'all love Kim K. Y'all love, like, I'm confused why y'all are trying to make women.
She's celebrities.
They're different. They're in a different space, so we can't really use that example. But I get what she's trying to say, but it's just not really applicable here because these women are in a very different reality, really.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're like the 0.0003% of women. Like if I'm being honest. So
And just crumble up and die at 25. Like, that's ridiculous. And that's what a lot of these red pill community members feel, because they don't like the fact that a lot of women my age or even a little bit older than me tend to like to date up. Y'all don't like that, so you're all like, okay, well, you guys are gonna crumble up because you're trying to hope that you're gonna one day be that man because you want to be that man. So it's just a mess, and that's just my little bit of opinion on the entire Kevin Samuels and the red pill community stuff. And of course, I'm open to hearing your opinions in the comments. I want to have healthy discussions in the comments. I don't.
All right.
so
I think
Final takes.
we're just gonna leave it right there. I mean,
I will say the truth can be funny sometimes. It's just like, I know that there are men out there who think stuff like this. So it's just like, man, it's hilarious. Like, I don't even know what to say to this, but it's funny.
yeah. I mean, yeah, man. Honestly, I mean, we ain't like, we don't have to go in people's comments. I mean, I was never that type of person, but like to try and make somebody have a bad day, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what does that do for your life? Like, how does that add value to my life to go on your page and be like, oh, see, this is why you don't deserve, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know?
Yeah.
But I think overall this was a good video. So like I said, you know, I was looking past the thumbnail, the title, because I'm like, is she really saying that? I mean, she is saying that, like, the toxicity of the red pill community, and from hearing her, I can see where she's coming from, because she's talking about the specific group of people that demonstrate this behavior.
Yeah.
But you know,
As a very vocal minority, I will hope it's a very vocal minority and not
it's
majority.
the same as, like, oh, when, you know, you get the black female that acts crazy,
The city girls,
or like it's very, very radical about these, like, mindsets, like, oh, niggas ain't shit, this and that, and, you know, people will say, oh, that's not all women, so that, but it's like, that's the loud minority. So it's like, it feels like it's the majority because they're just so loud, and the ones who aren't like that just aren't saying anything at all.
Yeah, we could make a video.
That's the truth, though.
City girls and their followers are toxic. Yeah, but I think she, at the very end, she made a very good point of, or saying that men need a platform, just so we could speak and talk to each other. You know, that's very important for men to have their own platform. You know, have their own safe space.
Yeah.
Because let's be real, at this point in time, in reality, it's just like, no matter what you are, sexuality, skin color, gender, unless you're a white man who's heterosexual, I guess. But, you know, you really aren't necessarily all that protected, I guess. But to have a safe space to talk is really beneficial for everybody, or at least for men, I should say.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, especially for men, because, I mean, you know, from society's view, women have a lot of safe spaces to talk and express and vent their emotions, but guys, it's like, you know what I'm saying, if you go on the internet, you a bitch. If you go talk to a girl, you a bitch. It's like, if you know what I'm saying, if you talk about how you feel, you just not a man. So it's like, you know, stuff like this is definitely productive, but, you know, it's gonna be some radicals. You know, everything good, there's some bad that comes with it.
Yeah, that's
of
obviously
course.
corruption.
Yeah, but what about you?
I mean, looking at the video, I agree with a lot of things. A lot of the things she said. I do think at the end of the day, Kevin Samuels is a great role model. I don't listen to too much of his content, but I do believe he's a great role model off of the things I do hear. And like just like how I was watching Vlad, he talked about like how he saved a lot of marriages and relationships. So yeah, just I forgot what you were talking about. You were talking about like the city girls, like the small minorities, like the loudest one. So that's for like everybody's can't like. Even if you look at Elon Musk, there's like those fixated entrepreneurs. They're like, okay, if you're working at this and this, then you're not, you know. But like, I mean, that's really my take. Like any influencer, there's always gonna be like the bad side to it. If you look at it like that.
Yeah, it's like if your favorite rapper is Chief Keef.
Oh yeah, of course.
And you listen to his content, but then you're like that minority that actually goes and tries to replicate what he's saying in his raps. Like that's just the loud minority. Like the rest of us just listen and say, okay, good music.
Bro, there's toxicity everything. Like,
you know,
I'm the like for example, you just brought up Chief Keef. I'm the toxic fan that thinks that Chief Keef invented everything. Like so, no matter what.
No, Soulja Boy invented everything.
Like I'm pretty sure there's a toxic fan base of like who thinks that Soulja Boy invented everything. So we always got that one influencer that we want to protect.
Yeah.
In a sense.
Well, there you have it. That's your video today, guys. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Definitely subscribe to the channel for more content. Like the video, share with your friends. And also leave a comment down below on what you thought about this content. How did you feel about the original topic and how we broke it down? We're definitely welcome to have this conversation, healthy dialogue, of course. And we will see you guys next video. Oh, and shout out to Toni Bryanne for this video. It was a good one. And yeah, keep going. See y'all.